You think Zion will get them in the playoffs?
Nope, I do not. I do not. And the reason I don't feel that way, Max, is because I don't see them surpassing Memphis or Portland or San Antonio, who I think is obviously exceptionally well coached, and I think ultimately they'll find their way in. Or dare I say, did I mention Memphis? I think I mentioned Memphis, right? You know that kid Ja Morant?
Oh, yeah.
He's all right.
He's just a number 2 overall pick in the draft. The brother's averaging 18 and 7. The brother's shooting 49% from the field, 40% from three-point range, if I remember correctly. I don't have the number right in front of me. I think that's what it is. Let me tell you something right now. Ja Morant ain't going anywhere. I look at San Antonio. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think Portland has underachieved. I think as the season progresses, I think that you will see the combination of CJ and Dame time. You really amp things up. And I certainly Utah and Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is a surprise because we all expected that when they made that big deal, sending Russell Westbrook away to Houston, bringing in CP3, we didn't anticipate the leader that CP3 was going to be, how he's galvanized those troops, how these guys are playing, with his leadership in play. And listen, and obviously Luka Doncic. Nobody saw this coming, and we didn't see how Dallas would benefit from it. I just think that several teams have elevated their level of play compared to last year. And I can see New Orleans give Alvin Gentry mad credit. They're 10-4 in their last 14 games. All right, I'm sorry, what is it? Yeah, they were 7-23.
Yep.
They're 10-4. Now they're 17-27. They won 10 of their last 14 games. I got to give props where it's due. And I know that Zion is that dude. I believe in him. But I just think that in terms of them catching somebody for that 8th spot, I don't think so.
He's going to do it. And I don't disagree with anything you said. The Spurs are always, even in a terrible year, they should be rebuilding. You just get a feeling they're going to make the playoffs. Ja Morant, we argued about this last week. He's an NBA superstar. I mean, not yet, but it's clear he's going to be. He's already a very good player. This dude who's compared to, is it D'Angelo Russell or what? Russell Westbrook, right? Such different players, but somehow he's the combination of both.
Right.
He's exceptional, and I agree with everything you said. He's still going to lead them to the playoffs, Stephen A. Here's the thing. When the Pelicans traded AD, that put them in a unique situation. Really, it's the only one I can remember in the NBA, in the history of the NBA, where you draft this potentially generational player in Zion Williamson, and you move a piece who's still so young in AD that you get a haul back. But the haul you get back is all around the same age as Zion. So you're set up potentially, because remember, when you go to a small market, the number 1 draft pick traditionally stays there for 6 years and then forces a trade before he just leaves in free agency. The way the NBA is set up with salaries and everything, the way that's structured off your rookie deal. So they knew, okay, the clock's ticking, we have 6 years. We're going to surround them with guys so that they're peaking at the same time in a couple years. But Stephen A., a funny thing happened. Brandon Ingram, who's only 22 years old, what was the whole issue with him? Would the shot ever fall? He's shooting 40% from 3.
Right.
He's averaging 25 points a game. He's already playing at all-star level. And now here's the thing. It's not that anything you just said was wrong. But if Zion Williamson can play like at a Ja Morant level, let's say, which is sort of bubble all-star, then of all these teams, only one is adding, without giving anything up, a kind of all-star caliber player. Boom, and putting them down in the team. They're only 3.5 games out of the playoffs right now. They have over half a season left to play, and they're adding about an all-star player. I think that's enough to get it done.
Well, I think you would be right if they weren't such a young team and then wouldn't have to make necessarily adjustments. My man Champ just pointed out how, Lonzo Ball is going to look like he's going to look all world, lobbing this brother the ball. We get all of that. The flip side to it is how much is it going to take away from Brandon Ingram, who's averaging about 26 a game? Let's recognize that. And so you got.
Well, Ingram can make plays too. He can bring the ball up. He can pass the ball.
I'm not saying that they won't make plays. I'm saying that because you're asking them to play together.
Yeah, you got to
integrate.
They're
so young, and you'll have to integrate them and particularly elevate the level of play of Zion. You're not going to prioritize making the postseason like you would if they were a relatively veteran squad. So as a result, you're going to call upon somebody to make the requisite sacrifices, and I think that's where your success may be compromised, at least to some degree. Again, we're talking about experienced teams with exceptional coaching, finding their way at the bottom of the Western Conference. They're going to find a way. I'm talking about the bottom of the playoff picture. They're going to find a way to survive as the season wanes, I believe, better than New Orleans. Next year and beyond, sure. If Zion had started off the season with them from day one, sure. But I think coming on so late into the season right now, over 40 games in, I'm just of the belief that you'll come up short. It will not be enough. You'll develop, but the team itself, I'm not so sure.
Let me ask you something. Is there a player on this squad who is a veteran, who knows how to win, who's big under pressure?
Drew Holiday?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
And does he have the ball in his hands a lot? Yes, he does. So what
is it a lot? Is it as much as it should be, particularly with Brandon Ingram there?
Well,
I've seen Brandon Ingram take a few game-winning shots.
No, but I'm saying who's really gonna distribute and figure things out. Brandon Ingram's also a playmaker, but the NBA is always, we don't believe you. You need more people, right? Like when you identify teams, you're really looking at who has those all-star caliber players. Teams with 2 all-stars generally make the playoffs. 2 to 3 can maybe make a run. When you look at LeBron, who's getting a tremendous amount of credit that he deserves from people, including you, yes, he deserves the credit. On the other hand, 2 top 5 players in the NBA on the same team, they're always a powerhouse. Now on this Pelicans team, you're going to have multiple all-star caliber players all on the same team. One is being added now. You have half a season to play. Can they make up those 3.5 games? And now add the electrifying quality Zion has.
Yeah.
We're all watching them now. There's going to be energy in the building.
I have a question
Everyone's
about
going to be
that.
juiced.
I know we differ on whether or not they're going to make the playoffs, but this guy is a #1 pick. He's got a huge shoe deal, nationally televised games. They're a pick to play on Christmas. Is he going to live up to the hype?
I think he will, just not tonight. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.